There's something in your heart that continues to tell you, do this. Follow that inner voice. It's never wrong. Follow that voice. Really. I've had so many people that have had regrets because they didn't follow that inner voice that said, follow your dreams. Do it. Trust me, you don't want to be that 60-year-old who's thinking, man, I wish I would have.
Something special inside you.
Welcome to GNG Podcast with your host, speaker, best-selling author, Chaz Jackson.
Yo, what's going on, kings and queens? It's your boy Chaz Jackson coming back to you once again, representing GNG Gift and the Gift Podcast. Hey, I just want to say thank you for giving me your eyes and your ears once again as we get ready to dive deep into some inspiration that I pray will plant like a seed in your mind and assist you in becoming a greater version of yourself. So if you've been tuning in to GNG Podcast, you know that our motto is you are gifted differently to make a difference. And we love getting amazing guests to come onto the show and pour into our young men as they strive to grow in personal development and leadership, providing those tips and techniques to help them become a greater version of themselves. And we have an amazing giant on the show today, King Andres. He's in the building. Doing some phenomenal things in this world as a motivational speaker, life coach, author, radio show host, been featured on big platforms such as CBS, NBC, and Fox. Again, shining his light so bright so other people can learn how to shine theirs to create that change in the world, to create disciples who make disciples. And again, he's here in the building. Are you ready to get it, sir?
Let's get it, man.
So I know what I shared there. It was very brief, but I would love for you to dive deeper, go deeper, however you may see it on how did you get to where you are in 2023, doing the phenomenal things that you're doing. Can you share your story with the audience?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And thank you again for having me. I really appreciate it. So for myself personally, the journey really started when I was struggling in life. I remember that I had no direction in my life. And right when I got out of high school, just was thinking, what am I supposed to do? And struggled with depression, with anxiety at times, really just wanted to end my life, man. I felt like I just didn't have a purpose. And I was telling myself, what am I here for? What am I here to do? So that led me down the path of just drinking a lot of alcohol, smoking a lot of marijuana, doing hard drugs like cocaine. At one point, I almost OD'd on coke. Really scary experience. Was gambling a lot. Was a womanizer. I mean, was just like really lost, and was also eating a lot of unhealthy foods. And at one point, was weighing 265 pounds. So I was even more depressed because of my physique. And then something that changed my life was when I found out I was going to be a dad. I told myself, man, if I don't take care of myself, who's going to take care of my kids? So I lost weight. I felt better about my health, but I was still struggling with my mind. And I remember a friend of mine telling me one day, hey, man, you got to listen to this audio. It's going to inspire you. And I was thinking, let's see what this is about. And I remember listening to Les Brown, man, and this guy just moved me. He said, many people, Les Brown, man, you know who, oh, man, I love that guy. He's been such an inspiration in my life. But one thing that he said that really caught my attention was when he said, many people will leave the universe without a trace. And under their name, you can put not used up. And that really just struck a chord in your heart. Very powerful. And I said, he's talking about me. So I started listening to these audios, started to like really just feed my mind. And that inspired me to do something that I've been wanting to do since I was 12 years old, which was stand-up comedy. And I started doing stand-up comedy. And I got to be honest, at first I was terrible. I even remember this one time in particular, this old lady was in the front. She was eating. She looked up and she went, and I was thinking, oh my God, like I'd rather you boo me than do me like that. So that's what got me like down the path of public speaking. Like somebody said, hey man, like you're a terrible comedian. You need to improve that. So I started to learn about public speaking. I got better as a comedian, but I fell in love with public speaking. It was like, this is my calling. This is what I was meant to do. And so I started doing public speaking for free at middle schools and high schools. And then eventually I met a lady who said, hey, so how much do you charge? And I'm like, oh man, like, you want to pay me? Okay. So that's when I was like, okay, I can get paid for this. And that's what got me started on that journey. And then eventually people would ask me, because I was always like a really shy kid in high school. Like I would have never seen myself speaking in front of kids. And then somebody asked me, like, how did you do it, man? So that's when I decided to become a life coach. And then eventually, when I saw my income as a speaker and coach, like be the same as my full-time job, that's when I decided to go full-time as a full speaker and coach. So that's kind of like in a nutshell how I got to where I am right now. And it's been a journey, man, but it's been a very fulfilling journey for me. Even the suffering, like I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's kind of like in those tough times we learn the most, right? And from
Absolutely.
my understanding, I'm paraphrasing some things that you talking about, Andres, is you started off in brokenness, and then over time you learn some solutions to those problems. And it's amazing how children, I know you talked about, having your first baby and it changed your perspective on life. And I can relate to that. It's like you want to create a better world for them. You want to, equip them to be the best people that they can be. So that in turn helps you hold yourself more accountable and to give you some power and tools and intentionality to again make their life better. So I'm glad you've done it. I'm glad I'm so excited about you to dive even more deeper in I believe in myself, leadership coaching. I love the logos, by the way, and everything that you're standing for. Just kind of hearing you talk, and I know you shared that you're an author. So your book's called The Blueprint, correct?
Yeah, it's the blueprint right here, blueprint on how to turn goals into achievement. I also have this one, Do It Now, Secrets to Overcome Procrastination, Morning Warrior Secrets. So morning rituals for health, happiness, and wealth. This was my first one, and then that was my second one, and then my third one was this one. And I also have one in Spanish. Yeah, and then I'm currently working on my next one. So yeah, I'm excited about that.
So when we're talking about goal achievement, based off of the blueprint, just for instance, taking one of the three. Like what stands out as far as a tip or technique to share with a young man as he has a dream, but obviously we know it, breaking things up into smaller pieces and tackling it on a daily basis could help us reach that dream, coming up with those goals and plans. Is there a tip or technique that outside of kind of what's been shared that helped you along your journey of
Absolutely
achieving goals and dreams?
Yes, actually, I want to share two very powerful tips that I used in my life. Because you see, when I first got started on this journey, I didn't know who I was. Like I thought I knew who I was, but really what I was a reflection of the people that I was around. Like I was around good people, but they were just making a lot of bad decisions, and I was just a follower. And because I didn't know who I was, I struggled with pursuing what I desired. So the first thing that I would like to recommend to people, and it's in the book, is finding out who you are. And the way that you can do this is just think about 4 people that you really admire, 4 men that you admire, that you say, I would like to be like them. I would like to have their characteristics. And what I would recommend you do is write down 4 characteristics that you appreciate about those men. And then when you write those down, write them down on a 3x5 card. Write them down on a 3x5 card. And this may sound a little wild, a little different, but you got to do different things in order for you to get different results. You keep doing what you're doing, you're going to keep getting what you're getting. So you write it down, you write down the values that you want to live by, the characteristics. I'll share some of mine that I started back then was I'm courageous. I don't lie. I have integrity. I am a person of service. I'm an instrument of God. I wrote down all these things and I would read them. Because a lot of the greats, they told me this, like, do this. I would wake up, I would read them. Sometimes I would feel crazy. Why am I doing this? But I did that because these guys were doing it and they were successful. And success leaves clues. If somebody's doing something and it's helping them, there's a clue there that it's working. So I said, you know what? These people are doing something right. So I did that. I would read it in the morning. I would carry this 3x5 card in my pocket. I would pull it out and I would read it. And at times I didn't even have to read it anymore because I was so ingrained in my mind. And then before you know it, I started doing these things. I started being a person of integrity. I was honest with people. I wasn't getting drunk. I wasn't doing a lot of things that I used to do. And that completely transformed my life. And it helped me to find out who I truly was. Because you see, when I go speak to young people, they don't know who they are. And because they don't know who they are, they fall for whatever comes their way. And so when you know who you are, then you won't fall for anything because you know exactly who you are, what you want. And when you know what you want, I'm going to give you the second tip, which is write down your goals. What do you want to achieve in the next year, in the next 3 years, in the next 5 years? And again, writing it down on a 3x5 card. And when you write it down on that 3x5 card, read that card every day in the morning, throughout the day, and at night before you go to bed. And you're gonna achieve these goals. I wrote down, I want to be a comedian. I achieved that. I want to be a motivational speaker. I achieved that. I life coach. I want to be a full-time motivational speaker and life coach. I achieved that. I want to be a TED talker. I want to give a TED talk. I gave a TED talk. I wrote down that goal. I want to be an author. I want to be #1 on Amazon. I wrote that down. I achieved it. I want to be a radio show host. I achieved that. I want to achieve all these things that I want. Like I want to make 6 figures. I'm going to make 6 figures. Like it's wild, but it works. It really does work because when you read it, it will be constantly reminding you, oh yeah, this is what I need to do. Another thing that I recommend is in that card, when you write out your goal, you write out exactly what you're going to do for that goal. Because you can't say, hey, I want to make 6 figures, and then you just sit there and eat a sandwich. Not going to work. If you want to make 6 figures,
take that action.
You gotta take action. Yeah. So don't forget the action piece. And if any of the audience that's listening, if they want a 3x5 card, I always give this at my presentations. It's called a goal card, where you write down. It gives you like the information on what to write down on there, and then you sign it that you're committed. And boom! If you guys want one, let me know. Hit me up, and I'd be happy to send you one of those 3x5 cards. It'll change your life.
Wow, so much goal and value provided there. Whoever's listening, I know you feel the same way that I do. And if you didn't get something to write some tips and techniques down, it's okay. Go ahead and pause it right now. Grab pen and paper, rewind this bad boy back about 6 minutes, and definitely take down these application points that was just shared here, because whenever we really lock in and write things down, there's something powerful in the pen. Writing things down, looking at it, gaining clarity, focus, and consistency sounds. That's what I hear from King Andres is getting consistency on things that you want, and eventually they're going to come to be. And I'm paraphrasing here using John Maxwell's kind of way of approaching. He talks about 3 ways to a growth mindset. And it really stood out to me whenever you share, get around people that are ahead of you. As I'm paraphrasing what you were saying, Andres, is get around people that are ahead of you. Get around people that you see as someone that you want to become. Not necessarily copycat them, but thinking about making your life gumbo. Whoever listening to us right now, what ingredients or what stands out to you that you would like to implement into your own life to make your unique self? Because Scripture tells us that we're fearfully and wonderfully made, but those are characteristics, like you were saying, like integrity and really not lying and holding yourself accountable and serving people in their area of gifting and helping them better themselves. That's really good stuff. And I'm led to ask you, what is your definition of success? I'm sure there's many things that can come to mind, but when you hear it right off the top of, as I'm saying that, what would you say?
Man, my definition of success is being happy. And when I say happy, I don't mean just like, oh, I'm happy, just because. Like, being happy with yourself first, being happy with your family, being happy with the kind of work that you do. And a lot of people would say, making money is like, having success. Yeah, make money is great. I want to make money, but at the same time, like what I really want is I really want to be truly fulfilled with myself, with my emotional health, with my mental health, with my family's relationships, with the money that I'm making, with the service that I'm giving, providing service to the people that I help, like, with with speaking to the youth, speaking to colleges, speaking to what is it called, nonprofits. I just the other day I was speaking to a 55 plus audience, and it was just a very powerful experience to speak to these people who, you know, were in their, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s, just didn't know where they were going in life. They just didn't know what they wanted to do with their life. And that's like happiness for me.
Thank you for sharing that. And there are coaches, there's parents, teachers listening to this podcast to learn how to impact and influence young men as they strive to grow in personal development and leadership. And I know you mentioned earlier how, you know, starting out in life through your adverse childhood experiences, you went through depression, anxieties, suicidal thoughts. And there was a point in your life where you felt like you didn't have a purpose. And I love the wristband that you're wearing. I am worthy. Whenever thinking about that mentor, that parent, that coach, that teacher, pouring into that young man right now, is there a tip or technique that you can give them if that young man is struggling with some of those emotional roller coaster, if you will, of anxiety, depression, dealing with situation when not finding purpose? How would you coach them up to share with that young man?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Because I coach young men, you know, that were football players or like wrestlers, or, you know, just young men who were just lost. And one tip that I do have for them is just like having a mentor or having a coach, having somebody on their side that will help them to believe in themselves, because that's what they really need. They need somebody to believe in them and somebody to love them, to show them some love. Like this last presentation that I gave to a group of family, parents and students, everybody was just, you know, sitting there, and I told them, hey, what I want you to do right now is I want you to look at your child in their eyes, and I want you to tell them, I believe in you and I love you. And it was interesting to see some of the interactions, because I could tell that some of them were not very used to doing that. And some of them were just shedding tears. And it was just a beautiful thing to see them connect. And I told them, we need your help to help your youth. Like, we need you to love them and believe in them, but to also say those words of affirmation, somebody to say it to them. And if you don't have that person, then have that third party. Like I said, like a coach. I know for me, I mean, having a coach has helped me out tremendously. To this day, I still have a coach, because I see the importance of having somebody to hold that space without judgment, without telling you what you need to do, but just holding that space for you to just either vent or just say whatever it is that you want to say. Because us as men, we suppress a lot of emotions. And if we suppress a lot of emotions, that's what leads to anxiety, eventually leads to depression. And so we must not keep that stuff suppressed. We must watch ourselves and talk to somebody about it, or at least journal about it. If you don't have somebody to talk to, journal about it. You don't want to keep that stuff in your head, because in your head, you're dead, man. Your head will tell you all the reasons why you're not good enough, or why you should smoke marijuana, why you should do drugs, why you should drink, why you should make all these bad decisions. But you got to have a space for you to vent and let this out. And then also have a group of open-minded people that will listen to your goals and dreams and not judge you, but support you and say, you can do it, man. Because I remember back in the day, you know, my friends would be like, oh, look at him. He wants to be a rapper. He wants to be a singer. He wants to be an actor. What a joke. And we would make fun of each other unconsciously. What we were doing is we were creating fear in each other. But we would say, nah, we're just joking, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's just joking. We just joke. Yeah, but that joking eventually programs our minds to believe that I better not do that because they're going to make fun of me.
Right.
And we care about what people think. And it's like, nah, man, you got to care about what you think, what you desire. You don't want to have regrets. Like some of these clients that I've had who are 60 years old, retired, a therapist, and really still says, I don't know who I am. It's like, man, you don't want to get to that.
Wow.
You want to know who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, such powerful stuff. And one of my favorite quotes is, you know, you can't control the cards that are dealt to you in life, but you can control how you play your hand. This is a crazy world out here, right? There's so many things that are trying to pull your attention, and so many things that wants to keep you suppressed, like you shared, Andres. But man, there's people out here who want to see you win. Me
Yeah.
and Liz, we want to see you win. We want to see you strive and grow towards your greatest version of yourself. And we want to set you up with a goal and plan that's not only clear, but can help you be focused and help you do the right things on a consistent basis. And that's what I'm hearing that you love to do and what you're passionate about, Andres. And there's somebody's listening right now. They want to get more in front of some of your work. Can you share some of your contact information? And also, what you got going on for the rest of 2023, moving into 24, that we can be lifting you up in prayer and supporting you on?
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. If anybody's interested in, a free consultation with me for 30 minutes, so I can show you in regards to overcoming those fears and that self-doubt so that you can get into action and have a strategy for that big vision that maybe you've been thinking about for weeks, months, years, maybe decades, send me an email at ibelievecal@gmail.com, or you can also look me up on Facebook, Andres Ruiz. You can also check me out on Instagram. It's called Andres Ruiz Motivates, or on TikTok. You can find me. It's called I Believe in Myself for Life, the number 4, life. And and right now I'm currently writing my next book around leadership. And I'm really excited about that, just writing a book to help people become better leaders, become better people. And on July 19th, I'm actually also having a workshop called Live on Purpose, Secrets to a Happy and Meaningful Life. So if you're interested in getting information on that, let me know. It's going to be through Zoom, so you can join us from anywhere in the world. And, I'm just really excited just to see all the speaking engagements that I'm going to be having for this coming year and the following as well. So, if you are interested in any of the information that I provided for you, let me know, hit me up. And if you just have a question, just email me. I'd be happy to answer that for you.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that information. And any last words of encouragement for the audience as we get ready to wrap this up, sir?
I just want to say that there's something in your heart that continues to tell you, do this. Follow that inner voice. It's never wrong. Follow that voice. Really, I've had so many people that have had regrets because they didn't follow that inner voice that said, follow your dreams, do it. Trust me, you don't want to be that 60-year-old who's thinking, man, I wish I would have. You want to do it. And like I said, if you have challenges, get a coach. They'll push you to do it.
Man, yes, you have to strive out to that, because I'm sure you can relate to this as well. At times in your life, you have to become comfortable with being uncomfortable and just striving for that greatness. But coaching changed my life. I have a coach as well. And yes, we need coaches. We need mentors, whoever listening to us right now. And once again, King Andres, he's poured out some phenomenal information, some amazing application points. We want to know which one you're going to take and implement into your life. So we look forward to hearing from you. He looks forward to helping you grow towards your strongest version of yourself. And also want to encourage you once again, share this out. This is a message that everyone can, I know this podcast is focused on young men, but women as well can take a lot from what's just been shared on this episode. And such a fruitful conversation that's been had. And once again, I just want to say thank you so much, Andres, for shining your light on Gifting the Gift podcast and bringing your wisdom.
Thank you, Chaz. I appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. I told each and every one of you, phenomenal episode. Once again, let us know what application point you're taking to implement and taking that daily challenge of becoming a passionate visionary who is determined to leave a legacy for themselves by adopting unwavering life values and serving others in the area of gifting led by God. I know you're going to continue to shine your light. Iron sharpens iron, continue to sharpen others. And I want you to stay up with GNG. More episodes coming soon. As always, family, if you made it this far, continue to do 2 things for me. Keep that crown on your heart. And please remember this. We are God's echo. Keep echoing your greatness, family. Peace.
Thank you for listening to GNG Podcast. Remember, you are gifted differently to make a difference. Please visit ChazJacksonSpeaks.org and let's continue to grow together. God bless.